Let's get straight to it because the internet streets are buzzing. And when it comes to music discourse, especially when a certain champagne poppy drops an album, everybody got something to say.
Lord.
Somebody quickly asked, will we get a new Pollos stream? There's no plans on that right now. I think like I think, you know, I'm gonna be honest. I think like since around the time I did the video where, I mean, you know, look, you guys can clip this and post it and tag him and whatever, and sort of like, you know, see if there's like any kind of like you know, response here on his end. But like, I think since about the video that I did where he was like, you know, Drake was kind of cavorting with that kick streamer that was doing that really sussy like, you know, other people on stream without like being told they were live, and the nudity stuff and whatever. That's just some weird I think since about that video he's been like legitimately mad at me, and not even sort of like I'm just sort of angry you don't like Drake, you know. I think he's like legitimately at me, like I think he like, you know, really is upset at me. And I'm not like really there was a tweet at one time, which I will say I took down because a lot of people were misinterpreting it, that you know, people like Akadidi were posting to the internet supposing that I was happy and excited the day that somebody had fired at Drake's house, which obviously I'm not pro-violence or pro any violence happening to Drake, or pro-violence happening to anybody. No. And he sort of like echoed that narrative, and I was like, okay, well, this is like some psycho shit. It's like, you know, we've had numerous streams together. We've texted together. We've had lots of interact. You really think that I wish Drake was dead and that somebody would gun Drake down? It's horrible. Like is you know, to me sort of says like, what's upsetting about it is that like I talk with him and we interact and we sort of, you know, have our fun, you know, rivalry thing that we do. And then it sort of seems like when we're not on stream or he's talking about me in other contexts, it's like he doesn't know me. And he's like, this guy's a troll. This guy's the worst thing that ever happened. This guy's evil. This guy, you know, is happy that Drake's house got shot. And it's sort of like, what, like, again, you think I'm that kind of psycho? Like, you think I'm that kind of psychopath? No. Like, you really would not, you would really have to never pay attention to anything that I say or do. And the thing is like, you know, and if that's something you really thought that I was all about, like, why wouldn't you just like ask me about it directly, as opposed to sort of like voicing the false opinion of a guy who has been caught on camera having conversations with a minor? You know? So, I mean, look, I'm not like 100% against the idea, but I think as of right now, he's like legitimately puff at me. I think he's legit like mad at me, and probably would not want to stream with me.
I mean, the only way you get over that is to have a chat, and he should reach out. All right.
Now, we got to talk about Anthony Fantano, the self-proclaimed internet's busiest music nerd, and his whole situation with Los Pollos TV, one of the most dedicated, die-hard Drake stans the world has ever seen. Every time Drake drops, the timeline becomes a war zone, and this time, with some songs for you, in the mix featuring PARTYNEXTDOOR, the stakes feel even higher. Now, we already know how this plays out. Fantano drops a review, says some things that don't sit well with the Drake camp, and before you know it, the chat is calling for a rematch, another epic debate stream, where Los Pollos and Fantano go at it like it's a heavyweight championship fight. But hold up, it looks like this time, Fantano is tapping out before it even starts. He's saying there ain't no plans, no scheduled debates, no Los Pollos face-off on the horizon. And you know what? That says a lot. Let's break it down. Fantano is the type to lean into controversy. He thrives on the back and forth, the discourse, the hot takes that get Twitter in shambles. And Los Pollos, he embodies the unshakable Drake fan energy, the kind of guy who will defend every album like it's his personal magnum opus. So why the hesitation? Why the dodging? It all seems to stem from a shift that happened after Fantano went in on Drake's affiliations and called out some questionable moves. And let's not forget, Things really took a left turn when Fantano had to clear up the whole situation where he was accused of celebrating a shooting incident at Drake's residence. A misunderstanding, according to him, but the damage was already done in the minds of some of these fans. See, what people don't get is that music fandom runs deep. Deeper than logic, deeper than reason. The internet turned music debates into tribal warfare. You either ride with Drake, or you against him. You love Fantano's critiques, or you think he's a hater. And Los Pollos, that man is like a war general for the OVO army. He's built his whole brand around defending the Sixth God. And that's why every time Drake drops, people expect the clash to happen. But Fantano seems tired of it. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with the toxicity anymore. Maybe he realizes there's no winning with the stands. Or maybe he just knows Los Pollos ain't coming in to actually debate. He's just coming in to defend at all costs. Now, let's talk about the deeper implications of all this. Because at its core, this is bigger than just a YouTube music reviewer and a Twitch streamer arguing over Drake. This is about how internet culture has turned every conversation into a battleground where people pick sides and refuse to hear any nuance. We see it in politics, in gaming, in sports, and especially in music. You can't just critique an artist anymore without people thinking you got some personal vendetta. And Fantano, for all his flaws, at least tries to give a structured take. But when the opposition ain't trying to listen and just wants to dunk on him for views, what's the point? Let's be real. This also says something about how music discussion has changed. People don't just want analysis. They want spectacle. They want beef. They want to see their favorite creators go at it for content. And honestly, it feels like Fantano don't want to play that game no more. At least not with Los Pollos. He's looking at the situation like, what's the upside? I debate this dude, and no matter what I say, his chat gonna call me a clown. If I don't engage, they still gonna call me a clown. So why bother? And honestly, he ain't wrong. The way internet discourse is set up, you can't just argue your point and walk away with respect. The moment you say something unfavorable about an artist with a dedicated fan base, you become public enemy number one. And let's not act like Drake himself ain't feeding into this. The man holds grudges like championship trophies. He sees the commentary, he peeps the narratives, and sometimes he fuels them himself. You think you don't know about Fantano? You think he ain't aware of how his music is dissected? He plays into the mythos, the drama, the headlines, and his fans follow suit. But let's bring it back to the main event. Will we ever see another Fantano versus Los Pollos debate? Maybe, maybe not. But if we do, it's got to be under different circumstances. Because at this point, it ain't about discussion, it's about dogpiling. And if Fantano is smart, he knows that stepping into that ring does nothing for him. But if Los Pollos is serious about actually engaging in discourse, instead of just running a victory lap for Drake, maybe there's a convo to be had. Until then, we just gotta sit back and watch the internet do what it does best. Turn everything into a spectacle.